Hi, this is Kate Northrup, and as part of the book launch of my new book, Money, A Love Story, I'm interviewing some of the people I know and love and respect about their own money love stories. And I'm here with Agapi Stassinopoulos, who is the best-selling author of Unbinding the Heart, which is a gorgeous book of snippets and lessons that she learned from her amazing Greek mother.
That's right.
Such a great
Yes.
book. You can find
Thank
out
you.
more at unbindingtheheart.com. And what I'd love to know is we can talk about, I mean, you're an expert in love. Agapi actually means
Unconditional love,
there you
right?
go, yeah. So how, talk to me a little bit about how you have brought love into your financial life as a, you know, you're not an employee.
Yes.
Nobody is taking care of you.
Independent.
So yeah. So
Independent
how has
woman.
that come about?
Well,
How do you
first
bring
of all,
love
I
in?
want to say how much I love your book.
Oh, thank you.
And I love this book because it's so honest. And it is so not telling you how to do it. And it's so telling you how Kate did it. And I read it on the plane on the way to LA. And I kept going, oh my God, she did all these exercises. Good for her to switch the patterns. And I think money is an amazing tool to guide us back to ourselves.
Yeah.
And to get back to the source of who we are. And if we use it that way, and as the song says, it's not about the money.
Right.
You know, it's not about the money.
It never is.
It never is about the money.
Yeah.
And to see what beliefs and what did our parents embedded in us, and what we bought in, and as you free yourself, as you unbind yourself, you know, in terms of all that, there can be tremendous liberation. I mean, people really are suffering about money and the lack of, and you know, it's interesting because my mother used to have this great saying. She used to say, I've met more poor millionaires than people who have nothing, you know. And it is not because a lot of people who have a lot of money still suffer from a consciousness of lack, that there is not enough. And I have a chapter in my book that I love, and it's called Mommy, Are We Rich?
Oh, I liked that one.
And it's how my consciousness of money really started to change over the years. When I asked my mother whether we were rich, because my father had these very rich friends, and we were by no means rich. We were, you know, kind of comfortable, but you know, we didn't have a lot of the luxuries that rich people have. And my mother, I was 9 years old, sat me down and she said, we are wealthy. We're very wealthy. And she gave me not the sex talk, I call it the wealth talk. And the wealth talk was about if you have education, if you have talent, if you share what you have, if you have rich friendships. Artists are wealthy because they have talents. Whether you have money or not, it's wealth is what you have, what you share, how you feel about your life. And education for her was a big thing, the love of learning. And the curiosity of life, the joy of life, all those things. So, and money, and so then you can go make money. So I saw my mother struggle a lot with money because she obviously wanted to give us a lot more than she could afford. And part of what she did is, I remember sometimes when we wouldn't have enough money, and I would worry, as a little kid, you know, you always kind of go, oh, how are we going to pay this and how are we going to pay that? And my mother would say, let's have everybody for dinner. You know, let's go buy something. So she would always create this feeling that we had enough, and the table was always rich. So there was always food and always plenty of everything. And I remember symbols, like as you entered a home in Athens, the first thing you saw was a huge platter of dried fruits and wheat. And wheat, you know, is the symbol of abundance. And so she had that feeling of abundance. She used to say when you, if you said to her, I love this, she would say, take it. And then somebody would say, Mom, why did you give me this? And the person would say, what can I give you back? And she would say, it's not a trade, darling, it's an offering.
It's not a trade, it's an offering.
It's an offering.
Really beautiful.
So this consciousness of offering is what I was brought up with.
Yeah.
And then in my own life, I really struggled with learning what money was about, and how do I earn it, and how do I keep it, and how do I grow it. And I've had an experience, because I used to worry about money, and I used to have fear that there would be enough.
Yeah.
And I had an experience which I want to share with our viewers.
Yeah, this is she gave me a sneak peek before we started recording. It's
And,
a great story. Listen up.
This is a great tool for me, because I'm a great believer in the spirit or God or whatever, the universe basically, and I call it God for lack of a better word. And I have a spiritual group that I study with. I have a spiritual teacher, and I've been studying for many, many years. And money was one of the things that's very much addressed about how to deal with money. And
it's great that that's part of your spiritual group and part of your teacher, because so often it's left out. So I really love that it's
there's seminars about love of money, how to deal with wealth, how to deal with money, how to be responsible, how to really learn what money is about. Everything from responsibility to sharing it, to having it, to growing it. And I have this saying which has changed my life about everything. I'm going to look straight in the camera and say, God is my partner. So whenever I wake up in the morning, I actually write it down before my to-do list. God is my partner.
Beautiful.
And I learned how to walk in my life, and that was through experience. And I write about all this in my book. It was the before and after.
Yeah.
When I was by myself and I didn't have a significant other, and my family was away, and I was completely alone doing my life, writing my book, my first book. And there was a moment there where I was really panicked, like, how am I going to afford to live in New York? And, my book wasn't yet written to bring any money. And I was like at this place of creation. And I had an item, and I said, I am going to auction that item. I'm going to put it on auction and to bring me money. And I believe in tithing. And tithing is something I had been doing kind of sporadically, not full, like tithing like this, like give me your hand, like I'll tithe, but I like to take it back when I need it. I give you 10%.
So not a wholehearted giving.
Yeah, no, I wasn't a joyful giver. I was like a bit of a stingy giver. Like, I'll give you this, but where am I giving it?
Like a crumb. Yeah.
That kind of
giving.
And I had heard a lot from my spiritual teacher and the teachings that in order to receive, you have to have the opening. And the opening is created by giving and by almost like building a big space where you can receive.
Yeah.
So I decided to pre-tithe, like it's called like faithing. Like I'm going to tithe on what I need before I receive it. It would be like a seeding of that. And I took 10% of the amount I thought this item would bring. And I remember, Kate, that I was putting the envelope. I was then living in New York, and there was this, this blue, I don't even know if they have the mailboxes. They still have them?
Yeah.
Okay. So
we do in Maine anyway.
Yes. So I remember I posted this letter, and I was going, are you crazy, girl? What are you doing? That's a lot of money. It was like it was like my last little bit. And a month, and I waited, and I doubted, and I waited. And a month later, I get a call. I was at the airport. I never forget it. And the owner of the place who was the item was being auctioned said to me, Miss Stassinopoulos, I hope you're sitting down, because your item has brought an unexpected amount of money, because we found two people who were lovers of that item, and they were out beating each other, which escalated, which for me was enough to keep me going, and it was enough, an extra.
Yeah.
And I remember literally I was so hit by this energy of love, love, that I'm saying it now and I get the chills, that I couldn't call anybody to share it.
You just experienced that.
I couldn't call my friends to say, you're not going to believe what it was almost sacred.
Yeah.
And now I can share it because I feel I've built it.
Yeah.
And then on the plane, I was like, God, I was like in love. I said, that is the greatest gift. I know.
That's very cool.
And from that moment on, I see it. I tithe. Into my spiritual
Yes.
group of it is like my church. You know, it is the place of where I feel there is a source, and there is a source of love for me, and there is a source of, but the source is inside.
Right.
But it's like you've got to have a physical
it's an
place.
outside manifestation of that.
Thank you.
A mirroring.
Exactly.
That's such a beautiful story.
And so I recommend it.
Yeah.
And I've actually told a lot of people and friends who struggle with money, I said, do you tithe? Do you see it before you tithe? And do you make God your partner, the universe your partner, but not lip service?
Right, like really
what would that feel like?
And feel like God has your back.
Yes, and your heart.
And your heart.
You know,
Yeah.
Rumi has this great phrase that says, life is rigged for you. It's rigged on your favor. Life is rigged in your favor.
Life is rigged for you.
Life is rigged for you. And it's like, it's not saying it's rigged for you on everything, but not money. Because
no, it's everything. It's the whole thing.
The whole caboodle. And again, it's not about the money. And that's why I think what you're doing is a tremendous service, because it is a taboo. It is something that people don't talk about and struggle with. And the more we help each other to free up this illusion about the money and liberate ourselves, the greatest service we're doing to our human hearts.
So that was very beautifully said. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
You.
Thank you for coming here. And if you want to learn more about Agapi, go to unbindingtheheart.com. I really recommend her book. It's so beautiful.
Thank you.
And if you'd like to hear more money love stories, please visit moneyalovestory.com, and you can grab yourself a copy of this book. And when you do, you'll get access to my 2-hour free online event called A Course in Having Enough. And I'll have guest teachers Marianne Williamson, Amanda Steinberg, founder of thedailyworth.com, and Barbara Stanny. So we're going to have a really good time. You get that free when you buy the book, moneyalovestory.com. And thank you, Agapi.
You're welcome.
You
Thank
are
you,
love.
sweetheart.
Thank
you. Wonderful.
Thank you.